Poland's out on a limb?
No, I think I wouldn't agree with the line that editorialist has taken, or that editorial committee. I would say that it's a very good thing that Poland, under the leadership of the new government, and more especially Radek Sikorski, has now understood that European defence, which is still in its infant stage, it's a baby that isn't yet walking, is not a threat to NATO, is not a threat to Poland's security guarantee, not a threat to its relationship with the United States, but is an asset for Poland. It is worth bolstering and expanding. Now we have the Lisbon Treaty now, we have Herman Van Rompuy, and we have Baroness Ashton, the High Representative. And one of the first decisions that have been taken is to institutionalize the meeting of EU defence ministers, give it formal status. I think there is a good chance for European defence policies being one of the policy areas which not over the next 6 months, but over the next 6 years will see positive developments, and it's very good news if Poland wants to be part of that.
But do you see a future where Poland will no longer have energy rows with its Russian neighbour?
Well, the energy relationship with Russia and Ukraine is an extremely tricky one. And I think the European Union is still looking to define its own policy. The cut-offs that have happened over the last years have been a wake-up call. It remains to be seen whether a more constructive engagement with Russia, more positive feeling towards Moscow, shared by more countries in the EU, will weaken the resolve to improve energy policy, an energy policy coordination within the EU. That would, of course, be bad news. I don't think, and certainly don't hope, that this is a conclusion the Polish government would draw from a friendly relationship with Moscow, because I do think, and I think this feeling is shared by many, indeed many governments and citizens inside the EU, that the EU does need a coherent energy policy to ensure itself against any threat of a cut-off, because positive intentions in Moscow, if they're there, might not last. We have to look ahead not only the next 5 months or 5 years, but 10 years and more. But certainly, that said, I don't think there's any difference, any positive evolution of the relationship with between Moscow and Warsaw and Moscow, which should be seen in any way as a threat either to Polish policy or to European policy.
We got to go to the Brexit, but do you agree with that, Mark?
No, I'm not obsessed. But still, I think that the energy is much, much more important in common defense. At least in 2 world wars, Americans liberated Europe, not Europe itself. So I think that NATO is #1 in defense in the world, that there should be no French solution for building European defense in order to emancipate it from NATO. And second thing, the most important at that moment, it's not the army, it's energy. Because the Kremlin policy directs towards the involvement in Europe through energetic policy.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be discussing more of these issues. We've talked about how things are seen from the Russian aspect. We're going to look at how the relationship is seen more in detail from the Polish position after this quick break. When we come back, a news update and the second part of our debate.